This is the floor plan study and the floor plan strategy behind Dr. Nadya. And I want to show you with John. Say hello, John.
Hello, everybody. Glad to be with you.
John is here, the Picasso of dental floor plans. You can only earn that title, by the way, after you've authentically, artistically created 4,000 floor plans or more. And John, you made it, buddy. You did over 4,000.
We got there. 36 years, but I loved every minute of it.
So this is the floor plan for Dr. Nadya, guys, as you're looking at taking a peek at what we're going to talk through here. This is her floor plan. We're going to talk about the strategy behind this. And most importantly, it's going to be the strategy that focuses around quality of life. And what I mean by that is Dr. Nadya, before this whole process started, Dr. Nadya ended up trying to figure out where she wanted to be. She went from New York to Miami, and in the Miami market, she thought, this is good, but it doesn't completely fit the style of dentistry that I'm interested in doing, nor does it fit the style of family that I want to raise. So we started to look at other areas, and we found a different area in Florida, a few hours away, that ended up being perfect for her. And perfect, not just for her floor plan. Now that's important because the floor plan will accommodate and give us an opportunity to go build the kind of practice you want. But more importantly than that, we needed to figure out what kind of quality of life she desired for her family. So we helped her move out of Miami into this other part of Florida where now she has this. And this is her floor plan now. And in her own words, that she says, I'll try to do my best to give it a verbatim quote. She said, "The night and day difference with a startup through Ideal Practices is nothing I can describe." A night and day difference. So the reason I say that, guys, is much of that, much of the manifestation of what's possible is done through a floor plan. So we're going to talk about some of the weird intricacies here in this floor plan and some of the strategies that John used to create this quality of life reality for her. So John, where should we begin?
Well, the key thing was quality of life. Nadya kept stressing that, and we wanted to exemplify that in the overall design, Jayme. And she was most concerned at that time. She didn't have any children, but she knew she was going to have children. And we wanted to take that in consideration to have a place in her office that the toddler might be while she's practicing. And also,
baby Nico is born now, by the way. Baby Nico is what, maybe 8 months old, something like that?
Yeah. But the great thing about working with Nadya, Jayme, was not only was she thinking about her quality of life, she was thinking of her team members' quality of life also. So that although her son is using this room, and we'll expand on that later, but she was also concerned about her team, that they would have a place that they could bring their toddlers in if they were have sniffles or weren't being able to go to school that day. So it was a unique, customized office. It was a unique design of the building because it was a unique shape of the building. But we had an aggressive prescription for it, but it worked out very well of not creating a cookie-cutter atmosphere. It was customized to Nadya's vision and her way of thinking. She wanted to practice dentistry.
So we've got the floor plan here, the dollhouse view as we call it, and you can see where the baby room is back here. You can actually see, I know those pack and plays all too well. I have two kids, Mason and Sienna, are now 8 and 10 years away from needing pack and plays. At least hopefully we don't have to regress back to a pack and play anytime soon. But we see Nadya's pack and play. John, can you talk through some of the strategy of why the floor plan accommodates her to be able to have family stuff and team stuff in the back in a way that doesn't disrupt the flow of the practice?
Well, yeah, definitely, Jayme. Because of the uniqueness of the shape of the building, we wanted to expand on that area and really work with that area to get it as far away from the clinical zone and the public areas of the facility. And so that there's a back entrance to these areas so that the children can come in and out as needed, and it's not affecting. So in other words, patients don't even know they're there. They're in the back areas. There's enclosed doors in these rooms where they can be, but they're still accessible to the team members and to Nadya. And also working with the enclosed room for the for the children, it's also going to become a future treatment room. Don't forget, they're not going to be a toddler the rest of their life. They are eventually going to grow up. So eventually, as they leave to go to high school and stuff, I mean, it's going to become a treatment room. So we provided it to be the proper size to be for production. But adjacent to the children's room is also the lounge, so that there's easily accessible for the refrigerator and sink and everything for the kids. And it just worked out phenomenal working with the existing structure of the building, and to create that zone of the area that is away from the treatment planning.
So one of the things that I love in this floor plan is the fact that we've got, what do we have here? 6 operatories, right?
Yeah, the potential of 6 treatment rooms, Jayme.
So one of the things that I really like with a startup is how we can reverse engineer this whole process so that somebody like Dr. Nadya can have a fulfilling practice. There's lots of quality of life and tons of future growth potential, right? We've got, in case you need to see, here's operatory 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, of course, she's only been equipped for 2 rooms of equipment, which is part of the strategy that we'll talk about on a different equipment strategy discussion. But John, so we talked about how the floor plan here, let me circle the screen so everybody can see. We talked about how the floor plan does not interfere with patient flow, so that the quality of life for team and little baby Nico and Dr. Nadya can all happen back here. We talked through how that works. Guys, if you can look at the screen here, you'll notice something, how in the reception area over here and the front desk area over here, it's impossible to see. There's no line of sight that would let people see back here, right? So as baby Nico or Nadya come in through the back door, or as the team members come in perhaps through the back door, this is the exit door back here, as they come into this space where the quality of life is factored in, as they come in there, none of that can be seen from the front area, right? None of that can be seen in the higher traffic areas for front desk or
seen
for
or heard, seen and heard. That's the key. Also, the audio of that is separated from that area as well.
And by see or by heard, I guess you're referring to the pocket doors on these operatories, right?
Yeah, those doors can be closed. Yes.
So now that the picture looks like it's full of red spaghetti, I'm going to get rid of all that. John, you and I talked a little bit about how quality of life for Nadya focused on natural light. Can I zoom in and we can talk about some of the natural light ideas?
Yeah, we picked up the eastern wall of the facility where all the main treatment rooms all have full glass on them. They have blinds on them right now so they can take the video, but when they're opened up, it's clear natural light coming into that. Now, obviously notice how that natural light just like spills into the main hallway. And also you notice there on a drawing at the end of the hallway, Jayme, you see those clear story or transom windows. So the light coming in from the reception room is actually shining into the main hallway. So we're getting as much natural light in this facility as we can, ensuring that throughout as much of it as possible.
So we've got a window right here in the middle of the screen. We've got a window here just to the left over there. We've got a window over there, again, a second window there, another window straight ahead. You can see a window on an angle on what looks like, what's that, John? Maybe a 30-degree angle, 45-degree angle there?
45-degree angle, yeah, 45.
Mm-hmm. So this is a 45-degree angle. John and I are going to talk in just a minute about the interesting angles, particularly on this wall. But here's another window spot. Now, if you look, like John just said, these are the transom windows. Oops, pardon me. You can see up here, these are the transom windows up at the top. This is a really smart way that if the space is built with all the right strategy, this light like this can come in through the front even without exposing the reception area to the clinical zone. So as we're looking at this floor plan and we're recognizing, okay, we got quality of life in a couple factors. We've got quality of life in the back, right? Meaning we have quality of life being enabled through a kid zone, through a team zone, through a way of coordinating patient flow through the practice that does not disrupt the clinical flow, right? We talked about this with all the spaghetti lines. So we've got quality of life happening back here in a way that doesn't disrupt or impede the flow of clinical production. And then we also have the quality of life with with natural light. All this natural light spills in through the transoms. Natural light, natural light, natural light, natural light, right? All this natural light blasting into the clinical and the high traffic areas of the practice. For her, predefined quality of life. Here's some more natural light coming in here. John, now that we've just covered those quality of life topics, let's talk about some of the unique angles that are important to consider in a floor plan, so that we're not just doing, how do you refer to it, a cookie cutter?
Yeah, cookie cutter. It's there's a lot of designers out there having their way of doing it. Their design as they say, well, work for this doctor should work for you, or should work for the next doctor. So what we don't like to do is we customize each design to meet your personality and your needs in life. We want to make it so that you are not into a factory type design, that you're in a design where you want to come to work every day and you want to enjoy working with your team and meeting and being with your patients. That's exactly how we want to design it, not into a cookie cutter the same way that it looks in every other office. Mm-hmm. Now, there are some basic design 101 techniques that are needed to be proper efficiency in production, but of course they are all customized to the size and shape of the building and your personality.
So interestingly, guys, you can see there's nothing cookie cutter about this place. I'd like to just point out, look at this angle. You know, there are some people in dentistry who would say, oh, you know, that cuts down on this, or it makes something else impossible. I want to point out that with the right experience of somebody like John, who can help you customize the space, this can actually turn, this 45-degree angle can turn into something great for the facility. Just like we talked about, more natural light over here, strategy for the natural light to pour in through the transoms. Now over here, some people might be wondering, what's over there? That's actually her private office. We didn't want to put that on video, but that's her private office back there. So all of this is hyper customized for Nadya's quality of life. Even the avoidance of a cookie cutter strategy. We don't want a cookie cutter practice. This is you. This is your life. This is for you. So John, any final thoughts before we wrap up here on Nadya's floor plan?
Well, it was the quality of life too, Jayme, was also with her different procedures she wanted to have in the future. As she was growing with her practice, she was going to go into different procedures. She was going to go into a milling room. She was going to do a CT scanning. And we wanted to make sure we met all those provisions located in the design that integrated with the flow of the design and the efficiency of the design, and patient marketing with the design as well. And she didn't feel pressured that she had to have them right away, because we designed them in a way that they could easily become what they eventually were designed for.
I love it. Dr. Nadya has some great clinical skills, and in her training, I mentioned she was originally in New York. She had treatment planned in such a way that could benefit significantly from a consultation room. So she has a consultation room built in here, very intentionally positioned. Very, very strategically created with proper windows to create the right experience. So we can talk about that in another discussion. One of the topics that I want to share with you guys is we're going to look at the floor plan of a Dr. Mike. And Dr. Mike is a doctor who, with no business experience at all, he was essentially scared in so few words. He was afraid of opening a practice. He said, I don't understand how all this stuff gets put together. I'm fearful, but I want to trust a proven process to do this. And then he said later, he said, I can't believe it. As he looked around over his shoulder in the space, he said, I can't believe it. I now have a practice that has 6 operatories. And he said that he believed his father was going to cry when he saw what his son had accomplished. So we want to expose you to the floor plan behind Mike's 6 operatories and how that allowed him to establish a new level of pride on a personal level. And you're going to see how a doctor with perhaps no business experience and perhaps questions of doubt, can I do this? Should I do this? You're going to see how a strategy like for him created a 6 operatory practice, very specifically crafted for his vision, in a way that allowed him to step forward with a big level of pride into practice ownership. So thanks, guys, for checking out Nadya's floor plan here. John, thank you. This is really good.
Oh, we had a great time. Great time.
Good stuff, everybody. I'm going to spin this around one last time because I can. and then we'll see you on the next training video. Thanks.